Are we ready?
Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. We're all ready. All right, hey, we have more than one guest this time. This is a big deal. More cameras, more microphones. This is the John Peckman podcast, Connecticut Valley School of Dance in beautiful downtown Portland, Connecticut. Come over the bridge, start looking left. That's us. And we have a twofer today. We are here with two guests. Two, not just one. We're past one. We're on to two now. We have Mr. Brendan Toller, and we have Mr. Jeff Slocum here. They are members of a band. We'll start there.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
What's the name of your band there, fellas?
Dust Hat.
Dust Hat.
That's right.
Dust Hat from New Haven, the mean streets of New Haven, Connecticut. Is that right?
Yeah.
You'd say more or less?
Yeah.
Okay. Who wants to tell their life story first?
Oh, I guess, it's intertwined. Jeff and I grew up two houses away from each other, like from ages 3 and 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go way back.
Yeah.
Even before you played instruments.
Yeah.
Wow,
So I guess the music stuff started when, I guess our dads gave us record players or something like that. And there's, I distinctly remember us playing the first couple Beatles records, and we would play them on 45, even though they were 33. And
Nice.
so they were super fast.
Sure.
And it kind of sounded like Chipmunks, but
Yeah.
the energy of it was so wild that we loved it. I remember my dad getting angry, and he's like, "You play it at 33." And then he'd leave the room, and we just put it back up to 45 again.
Sure.
Liked it better. At
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That you have to wait for music like that to come.
Yes.
Finally. So what was the first thing you heard that you're like, okay, this sounds like Beatles on 45? Finally, punk rock, like finally, when you got
That's
there.
a good question.
You know?
I think just punk in general. Whatever the first punk bands we started listening.
Or I would say the Ventures Live in 65 is like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you got to hear that.
Now you got me thinking because,
From a drummer standpoint.
That's
you gotta hear
right.
Oh, it'll blow your mind.
that. Yeah.
okay, there's a little short detour because now it's all coming back to me. Who's Andrew? Remember, who is that?
Andrew Marino?
Yes. Yes, Andrew Marino. He was a student of mine when he was young, and he was cool. He was a cool kid.
Friend of ours. Yeah.
Yeah, right? And then later found out that he was part of your crew. And he used to play me that Live Ventures record now that I
yes.
think of it. So he probably knew it because you guys did.
Yeah.
I remember
Oh, yeah.
that. And it just was like, oh, what's going on here?
Tore through Portland like a sickness.
Yeah, the Ventures pandemic, the Portland Ventures pandemic of whatever. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, Ventures. So finally you're like, here we go.
They did like a version of I Feel Fine that's like,
Yep.
it's just ripping.
Yeah.
And that
Super
really-
fast.
Was
Yeah.
it as fast as the Beatles version on
On,
Faster.
on 45?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It rips. Yeah.
So you were ready for it. You're just
Yes.
like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. So you both play guitar? Is
Yes.
that right?
Yeah.
That's correct. Brendan started playing when you were really young, maybe 7 or 8. Is that right?
I think I started at 9,
9.
and I had like a really kind of chintzy, like, I don't know what we always,
the Cordoba?
or we
that-
call it like the Costanza or whatever.
Yeah,
It was like a
the
nylon
Castagno.
string guitar.
Sure.
It took like, pliers to tune it because
Yeah.
the tuning pegs were so bad. And
That's right.
I studied with Dave for like 4 years.
Oh, wow.
And because I was young, like went the music reading route, which I'm grateful for, but I wanted to rock. So, Yellow Rose of Texas and the Scott Joplin's Entertainer was
Right.
I'm glad I know how to play that stuff, but
Right. Well,
yeah.
And Dave's good with pliers, too, when he needs to be. So at least you were in the half right place. That's cool. All right. Did you ever play the Yellow Rose of Texas at 45? That might be something.
Yeah, maybe
you might
that
want to
was
go
where
back.
I needed to, double speed it.
Yeah.
Put on that chromatic, not tuner. What is it? What is it, Dave? The thing you torture students with, the thing that
The
ups
metronome.
the speed, the metronome.
Yeah.
There it
yeah.
is.
The
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
that's never wrong.
Put
but
the
you are.
metronome on like 180 beats per second and go. Yellow Rose of Texas. Let's see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The metronome.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing that's never wrong. You are.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
why we hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. All right. So playing guitar in Portland. This is the thing.
Yeah.
Moving along.
Yeah, and I would say one of the big bands that Jeff and I bonded over was a Pearl Jam, and then Nirvana, and then Mudhoney, and then Fugazi. It's like, they had like this pathway that like,
Sure.
because it was kind of coming out of that era.
Sure.
So, Jeff got some sort of guitar, and
Yeah, I think it's Squire. You had a Squire at the time too. We both had twin Squires.
that's right.
Nice.
Strats.
And I had a extra guitar amp, so let me borrow that.
Yeah, the little Fender Frontman or whatever with the Cartman sticker on the side.
Yeah. And it had like this one tiny little button that you could press for like really nasty distortion.
Yeah, the little
like,
gray button.
Yeah.
Oh, it's only when desperation, when you're like,
Yes.
okay, we got to go into this.
Because we didn't know anything like about pedals then or
No.
anything, like, and so yeah, it was that. And I think for like many years, just like we'd have liked to rock, we'd have liked to have a band, but that's a hard thing to do in Central Connecticut when you're 14 or whatever.
Find the
I
right
guess.
people to play with.
Yeah, sure.
You're still
Everybody on
figuring
the
out who
same
you are.
page. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we did some like funny things on 4-track, but like I think we were just too nervous or embarrassed to try and put something
Right, to go
together.
full out,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Or even know what it would sound like or what it would be,
Yeah.
There was no template for that for us.
And you
Unless
had
you want to be a hardcore band or something.
right. I know what you mean. And you didn't want to do hardcore.
No, I don't think so.
Somewhere in between.
Yeah, something,
Something in between.
something in between. I don't know.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Fun.
Yeah.
Fun, not serious.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to know. I think you might have blown past a good album title in there somewhere. You said, we would have liked to rock. Or no, you were like, we wanted to. Never mind. We got to listen back.
Yeah,
but I was just like, you were like, we wanted to rock. Or, no, we'd like to rock. It's like,
Or
that's a
just
good
too
one.
nervous.
I don't know. We need permission though, John.
Yeah. No, of course.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah, right.
rock,
Yeah.
Mother
Yeah,
band.
not anymore.
Yeah,
but I mean, when you're 14, you're like, we'd like to rock.
Yeah.
That's okay with everyone.
That's hard to do in Portland, Connecticut.
Yeah, to rock in Portland.
Yeah.
Not a lot of rocking in Portland.
No. Yeah.
Bummer. How did Andrew Marino? Was he trying to rock with you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
We had
rocked
many
with him
jam
quite
sessions.
a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
He started playing the drums at probably around the same time
Yeah.
that I started playing guitar, and we would.
Yeah. He was pretty chill. He's a cool kid.
Yeah. I think a lot of it was like embarrassment to sing too.
Sure.
It's like, like
Yeah.
I do it now. It's still embarrassing, but
Are you the singer?
yeah,
Oh,
one
cool.
of the singers in Dust Hat. There's also Dan Soto who plays bass and also sings,
Okay.
and Rob Ruby sings backup on drums. So
Okay.
Jeff he doesn't have a microphone in practice. Sometimes it's hard for him
Right.
to talk over all the arguing.
That's right.
yeah.
Right. Sure. Yeah, that happens.
Or get his opinion heard. But today he has a mic.
Today I have a mic.
Oh
That's
boy.
right. Yeah. It's
Wow.
a big day.
Wow, that's cool. I can, if he ever, just say the word and I can kind of
Cut it out.
Yeah, exactly. So what kind of band is Dust Hat now? What are you doing? What is it?
I mean, I guess rock and roll.
Yeah,
It's
rock-
just an
Originals.
amalgamation.
Originals, but
Well-
like we'll do some kind of more obscure covers. I mean, some of them are not so obscure, but like our last show we did Nitty Gritty by Shirley Ellis, old soul song.
Yep.
And somebody came up to me after, they were like, "Did you write that?
Yeah,
It's
right.
one of the best songs I've ever heard in my life."
Oh no!
And then
You're
I
like,
was
did
like,
you hear the other
but see,
18 songs of
but
ours?
strategy-
Yeah, but then I like Sunday. This friend was at my DJ gig, and I played the original version, and she's like, "Oh my god!"
Oh,
she's,
no.
like,
She's like, I don't need you guys anymore.
Yeah, well,
No.
but it's. I've been watching that McCartney thing on Hulu.
I haven't seen it
and
yet.
he was talking about. I'm not gonna give anything away, but he was talking about how like you can cover a song. Like the Beatles did many covers, the Stones did many covers to start. I think it's a very important way of kind of defining your sound and what you'll be like or what you won't be like.
I think so.
Just kind
So
of learning how music works, how
Yeah.
a song
Yeah.
works, how it's put together, arranging.
So he was saying like, look, like we could do like a James Ray song, or we could do all those early sort of R&B songs that they did, and like they're not gonna sound
Right.
like that. Like think of the Talking Heads doing "Take Me to the River." It does not sound like Al Green,
Yeah. Right.
really at all.
Yeah. Definitely. No, I
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I can remember. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it is instructive because I was aware of all the Beatle covers, but never heard some of the originals and go back and go, oh, wow, that's cool. How you get to hear how like, oh, yeah, the difference between Twist and Shout by the Isleys and by them, they're equally cool. It's just different. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. So what is next for Dust Hat? Are we back?
We're back.
As back as we can be.
Right. Yeah.
We have a few fall festival dates, like the Glastonbury Fall Harvest Festival, Apple Harvest.
Apples?
And then, I think so. And then Simsbury wants to have us, the music feast that's on September 11th at 5 o'clock. And then
that's kind of cool.
In between there, we're going to be opening up for Billy Bremner of Rock Pile, doing his Rock Pile tribute at Cafe 9. So that should be really fun. Yeah.
Nice. So is Cafe 9 in New Haven? Is it in full swing yet or half swing? Or
yeah, I would say it's. I don't think there's music every single night, but it's it'll be swinging by
Getting
fall.
Getting there. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Love that place.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, I mean, even in New York City, I don't think you find many places that do 10 original shows a week.
No, that is for sure.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and
we're so lucky to have it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely for sure. Especially since it's kind of like the last one standing. Because when I grew up, and I'm older than you guys, but there was a handful of places. Now there's one, basically.
Yeah, I mean, because Toads is pretty much shuttered.
Yeah,
for music, at least rock and roll. Like, it's dance parties and other stuff. On the way of youth, or I don't know what they think makes money there, but
I don't either. It's been a while.
But Cafe 9, it's like it's just it's amazing who's come through those doors.
Yeah,
and like amazing, just even who we've got to play with.
What was like? Name a couple of really good ones.
Oh, Flamin' Groovies.
Yeah, Flamin'
Groovies.
Twice. Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah, that's pretty heavy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and you get to like hang out with them at the bar after. And Jeff really found like a long lost like uncle and Chris Wilson and
that's fun. He's a good guy.
Flamin' Groovies.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's pretty heavy.
Flamin' Groovies. Played with Clem Burke a couple times.
I have a Clem Burke story.
Very particular about his drums.
Yeah.
Is he?
Oh, really? Don't bash on it. And then you watch him.
Oh. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, I was I think Clem Burke was one of the first the first rock stars that I ever kind of met, I think, way back in the day in the 80s. I was in a band, an original band, and we were on the road. We opened for there's actually the Romantics back then.
Oh wow.
He was playing drums for the Romantics. I didn't know that, but we were in Philadelphia, and get there for the sound check, and the drummer comes in, and I'm like, that's Clem Burke. I'm like, oh wow, this is the dude from MTV that I used to watch growing up
with that hair,
playing for Blondie.
Cool hair.
Yeah, but I was like, this is Clem Burke. And then at a certain point, during the sound check or something, I found myself peeing next to Clem Burke. I was like, this is happening. I'm peeing next to the guy that was on MTV. It was amazing at the time. Clem Burke. He pees.
Yeah,
Clem Burke.
amazing.
He urinates.
They are human beings.
Yeah. I was like, wow, this is wild.
Yeah.
I have to pee. He has to pee. This is amazing.
Being in stereo, as we say.
I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Clem Burke. Yeah, and he tore it up. It was exciting. I was like, wow, it's Clem Burke with the Romantics. I don't know if I forgot to ever look up if that how long that lasted or whatever. Because I thought the Romantics was what I like about you, singer guy.
Right.
Because the drummer was the singer, and I was like, oh, all right, I guess Clem Burke's in the band. But that was exciting. That was one of the first. Clem Burke. And then, so it just goes on and on. Still stupid stories forever.
I don't know
That's
if
what
they're
it's all
stupid,
about,
though.
though. That's
Yeah,
what it's
exactly.
all about. Yeah.
Well, I think so.
Yeah.
I agree.
Do you have any memorable, like the first celebrity sightings or first rock star sightings that you were just like, okay, I'm in the orbit now?
Oh, God.
Oh, I mean, Hilton Valentine showing up to gigs. That
Sure.
was cool. And then he asked me to do all the Eric Burden stuff, which was really
That's heavy.
Talk about white singers that like, you know, aren't really white singers. Like Eric Burden he's an honorary brother,
true,
I think.
yeah.
The way he sang those songs is like, you know, maybe Jim Morrison with his ferocity came close, but from the quiet to loud and the up and the down, it's like, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, David Johansen does great versions of those songs, but
sure. Yeah.
man, he's hard to match. So I played with Hilton for like, I don't know, 2 years or something.
Oh, that's
like that.
cool.
But they started just by coming. Him and his wife Jermaine came and saw Dust Hat, and he was like,
"Oh wow,
a fan."
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lived in Wallingford, my hometown.
Yeah.
And I would hear about that. Hilton Valentine lives here.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's cool. I never saw him.
Yeah.
But it would be like, you know, Hilton Valentine was playing tennis.
Hilton Valentine was at the Stop and Shop.
Yeah. Hilton Valentine was
People
peeing.
magazine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was truly mind blowing when we saw him at one of the first time we saw him at a Dust Hat show. Brent's like, "Oh, that's Hilton Valentine."
Yeah, and I was like, or we had this one gig that was booked on Super Bowl Sunday, and it was like a Sunday buzz, and we're like, I don't know about sports. I didn't know it was Super Bowl Sunday, and then of course I was like, oh, nobody's gonna be here.
Right.
So the morale was down, I would say, and then all of a sudden, into our second song, Kid Congo just perches up a chair like stage side.
Oh, really?
Just like watching us. Yeah.
Oh boy.
So,
that's heavy.
Yeah.
He's still on the scene?
No, he moved to Tucson with his husband.
Okay.
So
yeah.
But we, chat from afar or something.
That's
like that.
cool. Yeah. You guys still doing that thing? I came to your thing once.
Yeah, I sort of inherited his. So he had a night called Sex Beat where he played all 45s.
Yeah.
Like punk and new wave stuff, early rock and roll, soul. And so I do it now. It's called Shake and Vibrate.
Oh, that's cool. And how often is that?
Once a month. I had like a residency in June, which was cool because it kind of got Cafe 9 up and running.
Yep.
And I had never had a thing that was, first of all, on a Thursday and every Thursday. So it was like a scene, and it was getting jam packed. And it was a little nerve wracking the first night there because it was like, oh, are people going to wear masks? And I was like, oh, I guess not. And it was just like, well, let's see how the vaccines. And I've been fine. So
sure,
that's a good sign. But yeah, it's once a month now, and I got some guest DJs coming up, and
cool. All
it's
vinyl.
an amazing thing. Yeah, all vinyl, and it's like, I mean, New Haven, regardless, like needs an alternative night, but I really feel like it's a good way of like getting people to know, like, wow, like there is like movable music that is not just drum machines,
right?
And I'm not competing with that. I'm staying within this era and of this style of songs that I think are almost baked into our DNA, but we don't know it.
Right.
When we hear it, we're like, what is this song?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know like Biz Marquis's, Just a Friend is actually like a Freddie Scott song.
I didn't know that.
And I played it Sunday and it blew people's minds.
Oh,
And
that's
like,
wild.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Biz Marquis, he knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I could get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta start showing up. I showed up at least once.
Yeah, I know. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Vinyl, tearing it up.
Yeah.
cool.
And mostly 45. Back
Wow.
to 45 again. Yeah.
Played at 33 speed.
Oh, sometimes. Yeah. That's when we get older.
You're allowed to play a 33. You can play an LP, but it's got to be at 45.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Wow. Imagine if you could ever do that. Come up with a set that's everything at 45.
There's cool people in Brooklyn that do that, I think.
Wow.
Have you ever listened to like Turn, 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 I think, by the Birds?
Oh, you mean reverse.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
No.
slow down
Oh, it's
is
amazing.
cool,
Yeah.
Really?
Boom, doom, 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 doom. Yeah, it's like really slows
Very
down.
heavy.
Oh, wow.
Chimey guitar.
I'll have to
thing.
check that out.
Yeah.
That's funny. Wow. That's kind of cool.
But once again, it's like kind of like there's like this. I don't want to say it's a secret world because it's available, but like if you dig deep enough, you're like, wow, all these, like you just talked about all the Beatles covers. Like I don't own the record, but the Donna's "Devil in His Heart" is amazing.
Sure. Yeah, I've heard that.
Amazing track.
Yep.
And like, so I play a lot of stuff like that people are like, wait, I thought,
Yeah, I know.
and it's not just to blow people's minds; it's to get people dancing, and also just a space for people to meet and talk, and it not be top 40 or what they're kind of accosted by in CVS or it's like something that's out of the way, that's not on a playlist and it's not obvious.
Yeah, 100%. I used to think, I don't know if it's still like this, but when I was young, I grew up in Wallingford. New Haven was cool. Like, it was cool.
Yeah.
Like, there was something going on that you didn't know about. That's what New Haven was to me. And the fact that you're still making it, you know, that you could go there and get your mind blown and learn something that you didn't know from somebody cooler than you is, to me, what New Haven is supposed to be about. Used to be about when I was growing up.
I think it takes a while to like unlock. Like, I was just there like for the first couple of years just checking stuff out. And then I'm like, oh, like Dave Schneider and the Zambonis, like, what is this? Or Tom Hearn and Big Fat Combo, what is this? Or Gary Mezzo and Bronson Rock, like, what is this? Or like Tom Smith, he drums in all these bands, like, what's this about? And then you sort of start to see, like, there was Ron's Place, like, this scene has always existed,
right? Yep.
And it just goes on and on and on, and we're just I'm just so grateful that like Cafe 9 exists, so that it can be like the home base for it.
Oh hell yeah! And you guys are like the next chapter, the new chapter.
Yeah,
that's the way it should
along
be.
with a bunch of other bands, you know.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, hopefully it'll always be. There'll be people inspired by you guys,
and it has such a different, like, you know, I don't have that much experience in the New York scene, but I don't think it's as stylistically different. I don't think it's as intergenerational. I don't think that it's people who are doing it for the sake of art, not to, like, you know, get more Instagram followers or get a contract or whatever they think making it or a career is, you know.
It's just doing what you think is cool.
Yeah.
You want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was always that way. I had I was into DJing like, you know, around the turn of the century, but I would do that. I would play like cover band gigs and bring my DJ rig, and as soon as like we were done playing, boom, I would start putting stuff on that I wanted people to hear. And then started doing that, you know, doing those gigs, because I was like, you know, I don't play Sublime cover tunes. And then as soon as the break came, I'd be like, this is what I really want to play.
Yeah.
So I definitely get that thing of like wanting to turn people onto something.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
you know,
keep it going.
Yeah, well, I don't know if this is I don't want to. I try never to, because I'm old, so I never want to. I try to steer conversations or my own thinking away from the way it used to be, because I don't want to be the old guy. But I always think that there used to be a time when I was growing up when musicians were cooler than normal people, and you look to them. So, you know, you would go to a gig and you would be like, okay, they're going to show me something that I've never seen or that I don't know.
Yeah.
And then somewhere along the line, we all became bros. And like the musicians just play what you know and they know and everybody knows it, and they go, okay, no one's uncomfortable and we're cool. It's like, you're supposed to be uncomfortable a little bit. Don't you think? I just feel like we used to look at musicians as the cool guys, and now they're just here to serve us, just like give us what we know.
Oh, but that's not, I don't think Jeff or I have that kind of view, right?
No, well, you're the cool guys. I'm just saying, like,
some people have that view, you know, more than should, you know?
Yeah.
Right. I'm just saying that, you know, it's,
come here, play these songs I want to hear. I don't want to think. I don't want you to show me anything. I'm just here to party.
New songs.
Yeah.
No new.
Play the hits, man.
Well, that I have
play what I know.
Exactly. Well, I have this thing I always think about. Like, I wish there was a way to sell bits to comedians, because I have this bit of like, there was at some point in history, somewhere in history, Leonard Skinner was at a gig and they said, we have a new song we'd like to play for you called Freebird, and someone's like, no. Give me 3 steps.
Yeah,
you know, everything
sure.
was original
Right.
at some point.
Yeah.
You know, Zeppelin played Stairway to Heaven, and people were like, the hell's this?
It's too long.
Weren't they playing the Lemon song?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it's too long.
Yeah.
Sounds like Spirit.
Yeah. It sure does. Got that right. Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
But that's not danceable. I'm saying bust that out.
I know, yeah.
At the gig.
Yeah.
People would be like, this isn't Zeppelin?
That's at, like, you know, maybe a head shop or something.
Yeah, it's funny. All right, that's cool. So who else is in your band? Give them shout outs or whatever.
We got Dan Soto, who plays the bass and sings some lead vocals as well.
Okay.
And Rob Ruby, who plays the drums and also sings. He does a lot of backing vocals. He did some lead vocals at our most recent show. Oh, and yeah,
Yeah, that's you guys.
that's
Yeah.
How long you been together?
Since 2016, I think.
That sounds
Oh,
about
okay.
right. Yeah, 2016. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I was living in like a New Haven mansion, so I had a free basement.
Nice.
And so,
Nice.
Jeff and I knew we wanted to get something started. And
You're like, now's the time. We got the space.
yeah, and I met Rob at like a cookout, and I was like, I just think men should be in bands like they are in softball leagues.
Wow.
That's
cool.
And he agreed with me.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah. And then Jeff and I like tried it out. Like we invited him over, and we were like, oh man, we have never played with a drummer like this
He's
ever.
great.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
he's the thing that made it happen.
I mean, he's also like our arranger.
Oh,
He's
okay.
like he can pick up any instrument. He's amazing.
Oh, wow.
He'll
And
write
he can
harmony
figure out
parts.
the chords to any song.
Oh,
trying to
really? So
figure
he's
out.
the
just
dude.
full of
He's
ideas.
musically
Yeah, very musical.
gifted. Yeah.
Hey, that's cool. So you're lucky to get that going.
Oh yeah.
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 And he really like the drummer drives the ship. If you're only
Supposed
a
to.
rock and roll band is only as good as their drummer, and that's why we're good is because of Rob Ruby.
Hey, that's cool.
He's definitely whipped us into shape. You
Yeah.
know, like me and Brendan basically just know the basics, and
Right.
he's always showing us new chord voicings.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Jazz
diminished chords.
and
Yeah.
all
Whoa.
that stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
Which I gotta say, I always like poo-pooed like anything that wasn't like a cowboy chord or a bar chord.
Sure.
I ran into Joe Flood during the pandemic, and he was telling me about how like he did a writing session with Dan Baird, and Dan Baird like Joe Flood tried to have like a 9 chord in there, and he goes, "Oh no money chords in this song."
No money chords.
Yeah, and so I always like, yeah, no money chords, like no complicated bridges, like let's just make it easy. And then
Yeah.
I took guitar lesson with many guitar lessons over Zoom with Johnny Spampanato over the pandemic,
Oh, boy.
and
Yeah.
he was like, "Man, Brendan, like it's all about the chords.
Yeah.
You gotta know these chords." And he showed me these chords that are like mangling your fingers, and I would like write them down. And like
Yeah, right.
he showed me this thing called the hell chord, which like Big Al uses, and
You know what
all
that
those-
is, Dave? The hell chord? A lot of hell chords.
More than one.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I'll show you.
Yeah, sure. I don't play guitar, so I wouldn't know, but I might recognize it.
Yeah,
Yeah, Johnny, NRBQ, and we could talk about that forever.
yeah, of course.
Good Lord. When I turned 21, they were the first band I went and saw.
Oh wow,
Oh, nice.
It was like,
cool.
boom. I couldn't wait. I was waiting.
Yeah,
Because I was, my sister's 9 years older than me. And by some fluke, like she went to Southern. I was at home. I was probably, if I was 11 or 12, she was 21. And NRBQ was real big in New Haven at that time. So she had their records. So I used to listen to her records when she wasn't around and thought that it was as good as anything else I was listening to. So I just accepted it as a thing.
yeah,
And then I realized looking back how lucky I was. I was like,
Yeah.
it's the best stuff
yeah.
ever.
Just insane musicians in those
The
songs,
the
are like
greatest.
Beatles songs, and it's amazing. But yeah, we're super. To get back to it, it's like to have somebody like Rob in the band that really pushes us and also focuses us too. It's like
really?
the song shouldn't do this, or let's not do that, or or we did this thing another week. I have a recording of it. Let's work on that, or
Yeah. So it keeps you in line.
a little bit. I would say so.
Definitely.
I think we all
and
could,
Dan does as well.
maintain
Dan's
the focus,
Always
yeah.
got the bass player's got fantastic ideas and like a big musical knowledge. So
So there's no like real leader. It's not like one guy. and the
Not
other
really.
guy.
I mean, I
Really?
suppose I threw everyone together and I take care of some of the administrative stuff, but there's no like, this is my song and you play it this way.
Yeah, right.
that's pretty democratic.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's
Even the arguments are democratic. I mean, if it's,
interesting.
I mean, we've never like been on the crux of throwing away a song and somebody saying like, no, it's good. Like if it stinks, we know it stinks and we'll move on,
Oh, really?
Yeah, if it doesn't work, if you try
we
it a
all
couple
sort of feel
times.
it, like,
That's kind of cool. I
there
guess
hasn't been much. I mean, some covers, some songs that we're trying to work on, like, yeah, this isn't landing,
Right.
not happening.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right.
So yeah, we have an EP out, and then we also have a full length, which came out kind of during the pandemic.
Okay.
And we did those both with Chris Ruggiero who now has a fantastic brewery in Bridgeport, Connecticut, with his brother, Berlinetta Brewing.
Oh yeah,
all pilsners, or all light beers, I should say, no IPAs.
Okay.
And we did the first one at his studio, Gold Coast Studios, and then we did the second one at Tarkin Studios in Bridgeport, Connecticut, owned by Peter Cadis.
Cool.
It's where like The National recorded, and Kurt Weill and Sigur Rós, and
yeah, right.
it's the big secret place in
Dust Hat
Bridgeport.
recorded there now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, now
yeah.
Dust Hat's been there.
The house was formerly owned by a cult. You know. It's
Oh,
a
cool
place.
Yeah, it was cool.
Which cult was that?
I don't know.
The Peter Green cult.
Yeah.
Whoa, imagine that. The Peter Green cult. Wow. Yeah, that's wild. I don't know. I'm just, now you got me thinking about cults. I don't know if this is an interesting story or not. I have no idea. Do you know Vic Steffens? Do you know Vic?
No, I know of him.
All right, you know of Vic.
Yeah.
Vic was my drum teacher when I was young, and then he started producing. And there was a studio in Bridgeport. I wish I could remember what it was. Probably Connecticut Recording Studio in Bridgeport. And he would take me to his sessions. You know, he'd just be, come and hang out for the day. And I was this kid, and I got trapped. At one point, he was in the control room, and the band was in the main room, and I ended up on the far side when they were doing takes, so I couldn't walk through. And I was in this abandoned Bridgeport building, so I just started kind of poking around the building, and I'm going down the stairs. We were like on the third or fourth floor. I'm going down the stairs and just kind of checking out empty abandoned rooms, and I get to this one corner, completely unaware. I look around the corner, and there is a room full of naked people standing there.
Oh, man.
I just looked around the corner and saw flesh, and I just ran. They were silent, naked people. Just a room full of flesh.
Creepy.
And I ran, down the hall, and then I just said, that can't be. And you ever see that where you're just like, I have to go look again. I can't believe what I've seen. And I go up to the doorway and peek around the corner, and it was a room full of mannequins. For some reason. I don't know why. But I just saw flesh, and I instantly thought cult.
Wow.
That's what reminded me. I just said, it's a cult. I don't know what they're doing. They're silent or whatever. Man. And then when I finally made it back in, I told Vic, and he goes, "Oh, the mannequins. Yeah, somebody got rid of a bunch of them, and when we went through the building, we put them in one room." Yeah. But that freaked me out. I just was like,
This is what recording's about.
Yeah. Cults, naked silent cults. Just creepy, totally creepy. Can we talk about your filmmaking?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I started making funny movies with Jeff in high school.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, really? So you were in on it too?
Oh, yeah. But I mean, this was super amateur.
Jeff's
this was,
one of the greatest actors of our time, as evidenced in
I wouldn't say
a recent promo video we did with another band.
Wow.
I think he's very good. He's very emotive.
I'm funny
He's
looking.
funny.
Is really what it is.
Yeah.
Well, we're all funny looking.
So that got me sort of started in sort of digital video classes in the Town Tech program. Give that a shout out, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
wow.
And then I pushed the limits of the school. Like I would be after school like defragging a computer trying to get like a 30-minute like video off the class. Like nobody was doing that. They were making like 1-minute things. And I was trying to make these big.
Oh really? So you were already just like, I got to figure out what I can do.
Yeah. So then I went to Hampshire College, and that school really taught me, like, I mean, even to this day, it just taught me how to get like art projects off the ground and running and done. Wow. And then my first film was I Need That Record. I made it in 2008. I went actually kind of halfway cross country road trip with Jeff and Andrew Marino.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
Cool.
And we went to all these record stores and like Chess Records and all these different places. Nice. And I just didn't like the way the press was like, yeah, it's over. Oh, well.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, what? Like, why would you just like surrender the flag here? Like, I really didn't understand it. So,
and you were right, because it's not.
Well, Record Store Day shortly came after that. Mm-hmm. And, now people have like real pride in it. And, I just asked like I had like a dream list of people I wanted to interview,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of funny because I wrote out this list and then like half the people are in I Need That Record and then the other half are in Danny Says kind of. Like I remember writing Iggy Pop on the list. I knew I would never get him for I Need That Record, but like he was on the list.
Wow.
You got him, man.
You know,
So you already had the list.
I was manifesting. Yeah.
Wow. All right, we'll get to that. Let's go one at a time.
So,
That's awesome.
so, I mean, that did like really well. I mean, I released the trailer and that was like up on Pitchfork before the film was even like made or before I even graduated. It was like a thesis film at Hampshire.
Okay.
So,
And then you just said, well, let me see if I can get this to happen.
I mean, the other thing is like Record Express was like, that was our touch zone to like outside of Portland. I mean, I don't mean just like being in Middletown. I mean,
I know.
to the world outside. Like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
people being like, you ever hear this band called The Damned? Or,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you ever hear the
MC5?
MC5? And we're like, what? Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, because internet wasn't really totally live.
I
then.
know.
Like Napster came like when we were maybe seniors in high school or something like
Okay.
that. And even then, it seemed shady.
You need someone that really knows to kind of shape you. You don't want to go out into the wild. And
Yeah,
just
no.
pick up anything, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't
Get
trust,
into trouble.
trust
yeah.
an algorithm.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I know. I mean, that's how I grew up, you know, because I'm older than you guys. Yeah, that was it. The records. So we had Merle's Record Rack in Wallingford.
Yeah.
That was my joint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was just, you would walk in and hear something. And Record Express used to, I didn't grow up around here, but when I been teaching here for 20 years, I used to go down there. And he was in The Flick. Who's that dude?
Ian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he even still blew my mind in the very end.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would drop in there, and every time I dropped in, I'd be like, "What is this that he was playing?" Always.
Yeah.
He turned me on to. I think he would probably never remember, but kind of got me into reggae. I heard some reggae thing that I loved, and I was like, "What is this?" He's like, "This is Mikey Dread. Like you got to get into this," and that started a thing that I'm still on because of that one just walking in.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's the way it used to be.
And he was so like I don't know, patient or kind because we were like 13, 14 years old, and he would spend all this time talking to us and showing us stuff. And
it's the way
people
it used
don't
to
do
be.
that anymore.
I know. It's the way it used to be.
Yeah.
It's wild. Is he still around?
I think so.
Yes, I ran into him a couple of years ago in Middletown at an ice cream place.
Yeah.
Froyo.
Okay.
So he's still around.
Yeah. No, that was, I'm. Okay, Ian used to be roommates with, that's right, with Ed Macenti, who teaches here.
Yeah.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah, no, that's the way it was. You go to the record store and check it out. Yeah, we had one. Yeah, I used to go to, oh man, we're going to go to Cutler's in New Haven. That was like big time. Like go to Cutler's. Yeah. Yeah, those are the days.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you see other music? Did you see that flick?
They asked me to direct that, and I said I already made my record store movie, but I did a bunch of the interviews for that.
Oh, okay, maybe I missed that
because they
cool.
Paloma and Rob, the filmmaking duo, moved to Los Angeles, and so they said, "Can you fill in?" I mean, I didn't do that many, but I did some, and it was fun to be a part of. I said, like, I'll help in any way I can. I'm not going to direct because I don't want to be the record store film guy.
Yeah, right.
You know,
right.
I mean, I loved other music. I mean, that's like another chapter in my life, like being in New York and I'm on East 6th Street. Oh, there's other music. Let me go walk in, and like always having my mind blown by what's over the speakers.
Yeah, me too.
Or just like what's in the shop. Like I don't know any of this stuff, and like, what's the context? Like,
Yeah, well, the movie tells that whole story.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was a thing. I was in a band down there, and I would just wander over there, and I didn't know. I just never really thought about it. I thought maybe it was chain. I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would wander in and realize like, okay, I'm not at this level. Let me just take a look and then regroup and then come back and go, let me see what's going on.
Overwhelming.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would buy things and hear things. But I thought, naively, that I was the only one having that experience. And then when I saw the flick, I go, that's the kind of joint it was.
Yeah,
Right.
It wasn't like, come on, John, you're not this cool. It wasn't like that. It was like everybody was kind of like, where am I? How do I orient myself?
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't understand the
in, out. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm working my way through the flick. I, of course, freeze framed and wrote down every song that was in the soundtrack, and I'm just trying to find everything.
Yeah,
because it was mind blowing.
Yeah,
it's like stuff I never heard.
Yeah,
one thing after another, after another, after another.
Yeah,
but yeah,
they just came out with like a vinyl soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Look out for it.
Have to check that out.
Yeah,
cool. So you made that flick, which was awesome. And then Red Squirrel from my hometown was in that flick too.
I was there today.
Oh, were you really?
I bought a Hound Dog Taylor record.
Okay.
The house rockin' one.
Oh, yeah.
And the wrong record was in it. So,
no.
That never happens, by the way. I'm not like, and Red Squirrel's like, oh, come in, just exchange it. So, but I was hoping I would find it in like it was Albert Collins' Cold Snap. So I was like, if I just find Albert Collins' Cold Snap, it's gotta be in there. Yeah. It wasn't in there. And I was like, man.
Oh.
So,
oh no.
I'll get it another time. I have it on CD, but that's like my favorite blues record.
Oh, really?
House Rockin' by Hound Dog Taylor, and he had 6 fingers.
Real? Is that a fact?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Wow.
On
that
one
guy
hand,
could move
he can play some chords.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The hell chord.
Yes.
The 6 finger. I did not know that.
Sixth finger, sixth.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's heavy.
So
wow.
So anywho, they like expanded. It's amazing in there. It's
I've been
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for them. That's cool.
Price is fair. Josh and Rick and all the employees, so nice. So, yeah. A mainstay now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. Yeah. Red Squirrel. Definitely. Trying to think what other joints were around. It doesn't matter. Because you know them all. Like, I'm not going to tell you anything you don't remember.
But yeah, I made I Need That Record, and during that I had interviewed Danny Fields through my college girlfriend and her grandmother. Her grandmother used to go to ballet and play backgammon with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, and she's like, you have to meet him. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm not like I wasn't like, I didn't know a ton about the Ramones. I mean, I knew like enough.
Yeah.
But I was like a huge Stooges fan, like big Stooges fan.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, I'll meet him. And then I had no idea, like he did the Beatles, more popular than Jesus thing. And he's pulling out the issue the first time I meet him. And I just was like, I thought like it would be an interview and we go out to dinner and that was it. And then I heard from mutual people that like he wanted to hang out. So anytime I went to New York, I'd go hang out with him. And then we had him up to Thurston Moore's house and he did like a little interview at a bar with him. And
wow.
And Danny was like, he just sort of knew, like it would be like unprompted, and he would just tell me the complete year of 1973 of like putting all the Stooges like expenses on his credit cards, as they got rejected from Elektra to try and finance Raw Power and get it through.
God almighty. That's crazy.
Just amazing stuff. And I thought like, it doesn't even have to be me. Just somebody has to like preserve the way this guy tells stories, preserve everything. And I'm just so glad that it happened.
Yeah. At what point were you like, this could be a flick right here? Like, I'm going to put this together. Like,
when I knew it would like,
when you were like, there must have been the moment when you said, Danny Fields, I'm going to tell this story.
I mean, kind of. It was always like, I think when I asked him, I was like, if you ever need help with your memoirs or God forbid you want to make a documentary, like let me know. And he was actually, I think, and I was like, oh, and he's like, yeah, I have this friend, Justin, and, I'll put you two together because it's good to have two heads on this. And he'll maybe write a book. And I think Justin's still working on it. And, you'll do the film. So we did all the interviews together. And
were you looking to do a next film, or you just living life and then just said,
I was just sort of living life and like one door opens another kind of thing. And I knew I was probably going to move to New York, but that was like the clincher. I was like, okay, well, I definitely got to move to New York for this.
Yeah, right.
And then, like, honestly, a lot of it was just going through those audio tapes and the archive, which is just insane.
That's unbelievable.
And a lot of that is, most of it's at Beinecke Library. So you can go and request a box and look through stuff.
Wow.
I don't even think you should be a researcher, but you can just say you're researching something. I think that they've laxed the restrictions. I mean, it's very uptight and security and all that, but you want to go look through stuff with gloves, it's a fun thing to do.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds interesting. I would never think of that.
Yeah,
I watched Danny Says last night again because I mean, won't embarrass you, but you know how I felt about it because I went and found you when I first saw it. I was because I mean, I like to think I'm the audience, your audience. I mean, I'm a total geek. And when I saw that flick, I was like, yeah, this story needed to be told.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I actually forgot because I hadn't seen it in a while. I saw it a few times at first, and then I watched it last night, and I even forgot. I was like, oh, that's right. He was involved. I was like, oh, yeah, the Leonard Cohen thing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's very brief in the film, but yeah, that was...
How many things?
Yes, exactly.
Crazy.
Yeah, and like when... Well, I'll let Jeff tell the story, but like when Jeff met him, you could relay what you said to him at Partners, I think.
Oh, yeah. It was something along the lines of like just... I mean, I don't think he realized it, but how responsible he was for like shaping people's lives.
That's
all
what
that
I'm
music,
thinking.
Everything.
Yeah, I'm like, we're living in his world.
Yeah,
in a way.
That's exactly what it was. And I don't know how much of our lives have changed because of things he's done.
It's a new. You can't even. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Stooges MC5 alone for the two of us is like,
sure,
as teenage boys, wanting to rock. That was like a huge. And for him to be at the helm of that,
crazy.
And it was cool, like, being, friends with Brendan and watching this whole story develop. Like, I met this guy, Danny Fields. You got to hear this story. And then hearing all these little stories and kind of piecing it together and then seeing, like, the first cut of the film and just my mind exploding. Like, wow, look
everything.
And the way he put it together and, tells the whole story. Right. It's
so good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Takes a village.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, whatever it takes. Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah.
For the big, the top shelf. That's a top shelf one for sure.
You.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Definitely.
And enjoy. I mean, whatever. I'm not gonna. But enjoyable. I didn't forget, but it's not just info, but it's a compelling. The whole thing with the animation and the whole everything about it.
I wanted it to be a film that like the diehards would really love, but also somebody who had no idea could also enjoy. And the best compliment at film festivals and screenings was inevitably I'd have a couple, and it'd either be the girlfriend or the boyfriend, and they'd say, geez, I really did not want to come see this film tonight because I don't like any of this music. I don't know anything about it, but that was a great movie.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
That's like the best compliment.
Right, because you saved a relationship, potentially, maybe. Yeah, no. That would be, I would be happy to have made something like that. Yeah, great. So good. So did you, what was the most, did you interview Iggy Pop?
Yeah.
Wow. That must have been heavy.
Yeah, it was because like the first question, I forget what we said, like, what did you want to be when you grow up or something like that. And he starts, and it's like, people talk about like there's Jim and there's Iggy. I mean, this wasn't a performance, but this was like, he's going to be interview Iggy, right? So he's starting, and I start to check, like it'd be like if I just reached over and grabbed one of these dials here just to check the levels, and he stops and he looks at me like, are you ready to go, or am I like wasting my time here?
Oh no!
And I saw that look and I'm not bragging or anything, but like I there was one show up in All Tomorrow's Parties in upstate New York.
Okay.
That he did the full Raw Power album, and I was on the side stage filming him. And I got to see that same look, him giving that same look to like Mike Watt in the band and like Scott Ashton. Like it's the same look. Like, what the hell are you doing?
You're like I got to get it together right now.
Yeah. So it was like that. Like, so I always felt like this like ping of adrenaline. Like, oh shit. Like, I don't want to screw this up. And it was and like that's like when, I mean, it's always kind of like nerve wracking when you have like an interview like that and you're like, oh no, like it's on tapes.
Yeah, right.
Like, what about the tapes in the airplane, or like, what about magnets, or like,
God.
you're like freaking out. Even with hard drives.
Oh, by the way, I never press record.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it was overwhelming, and like people forget like he's 5'2".
Really?
And he has like a crooked stance. One leg is longer than the other, so when he's leaning in pictures, it's not to look cool. It's like that's what is.
I never knew that.
I heard it was from a stage diving accident, but I don't know. I mean, for it to be that, like,
could have been anything.
He has one sandal that's like significantly larger than the other when he puts them on at the house.
Whoa! I didn't know that. I didn't realize he was that short. I'm sorry. I don't know how else to say it. I don't want him to.
But a
You
lot
don't
of
want to
Prince.
get that look. Next
Think of
time
all
you
those
see him.
guys. Prince, all those British guys,
It's true.
Yeah.
British invasion guys. You know, they're all kind of tiny.
Yeah. I guess, right?
I think so. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. For the most part.
Yeah.
Huh.
The photographic lens does wonders sometimes.
Yeah.
I guess, right?
Yeah.
Was that the most nerve-wracking interview, Iggy Pop? Then
I mean, for like nerve reasons, but like, no, I mean, like you know, I mean, like the most laughable one was Paul Morrissey, who spent more time. He was Andy Warhol's filmmaking partner.
Sure.
He spent more time with the release for him than he did with us. And I just remember his assistant was so nervous, and he was like, "Are there chairs for these boys?" And he goes, "There's no chairs to give." And this is on like this Upper East Side, like,
Right.
you know, incredible art everywhere, and there's plenty of chairs, and like he was just so he just was, I don't know, just a curmudgeon,
Oh, well.
irascible.
Yeah. Well, that's all right, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
So there's stuff like that, or there's like, you know, driving with a cab driver it's his first drive ever in New York and in a cab, and it's pouring rain, and you're like 5 minutes till Judy Collins interview, and you almost leave your phone in the car. Like there's stuff like that. Like you remember certain things, or like, you know, interviews that you don't.
What kind of look does Judy Collins whip out on you? That's what.
Oh, it
did
was
she-
fine. We were not late at all.
Imagine if she was the worst.
No, she was
You know what I mean?
amazing. She was one of the best. Yeah, there were just every interview for that was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like it's like I didn't go to like grad school, or I didn't. I was still learning. Like I was in my early 20s, so to like hear these people's experiences and hear their perspective was just like.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to Record Express in Middletown. Now you're going to New York and hearing all these stories, and you're just,
Right.
you know, these are people who like really lived the true bohemian life and
Yeah.
sought out all the stuff that all 3-4 of us here
Yep.
always look for.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah. That's a true romantic story.
Mhm.
That's what I was watching. I was like, wow, this movie's taking you right through one of the coolest stories, all the places that you wanted to be. It's like,
I always say he lived like the best life of the last half of the 20th century.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I thought it was there was something. It was I you know, well, you know him. Obviously I don't know him. That I thought it was incredibly profound. When I don't remember what exactly the context was, but his thing was just like, instead of living a life, our thing is we're watching lives being living, and that's our life.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of everything that's post. I don't know where the line would be, but everything that's post Velvet Underground, maybe like where the line would
Right.
be.
Yeah,
You
sure.
realize that's where we are.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, in a way.
Yeah.
Like, wow, he said it. You know, that's what we're doing. We're kind of like looking at what it all was or what it all is.
Well, it's happening more and more now. I mean, look, you got this podcast. Dave has got this podcast studio. It's like easier for people to do and realize
Right.
their own dream. Whereas I think like growing up, it seemed like impossible that like Jeff
Yeah.
and I could have a
Impossible,
band.
yeah.
Impossible we could ever play
Impossible,
anywhere.
right,
Like you know, like
Yeah, now you're like, yeah, we
Yeah.
got the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a couple emails, and you know.
That's why I told
couple
Iggy just to
rehearsals.
chill.
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Wow. So what's next film wise?
I don't know.
You don't
mean,
know?
You did the thing where like you pitch a bunch of things,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously like, you have like ideas, and there's a bunch of things in the works, but there's nothing. Basically, it's, you know, there's sort of this falsehood that there's like a lot of money in documentary, and
Sure.
I know I made some money off Danny Says, but not
Right.
enough to live. I mean,
Right.
it's not a box office smash.
Right.
I'm
It's,
not Michael Moore or Morgan Spurlock or
right.
You know.
It's not like people think like
So-
you're just sitting around waiting for your next project.
But people, and you know this, and you know people like this, like when you're in like Rolling Stone or you're in New York Times, people assume,
Sure.
well, he's made it and like his career started and he must be making like bank.
Right.
It's
Well-
not- I mean, even in the new Sparks documentary, they're talking about how like they're in some like on the front page of this magazine, and they maybe have #1 in some European country, and they have to use food stamps.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
You know, so it's like, you know, rather than me trying just, I've seen enough bohemian lives that won't compromise and they're just trying to slog it out, and I that's not what I want to completely do with my life. And like, I can make art and do things on my own terms, and I gotta say, like, you know, film is great, but I mean, we didn't start this band till we were like 30.
Right.
So like, it's a different
Okay.
thing, and like, it's, I mean, we have an audience, but like, it's for us.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
This is the record I want to hear.
Right.
And
right.
like,
Wow.
I love that, and I love the collaborative nature of it, and it's such like a building thing, you know, whereas a film is kind of like, it feels like a lonely soldier on a lonely path.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Huh.
I mean, like, you know, when you work with people, you hire them.
Okay.
So it's not like a band,
That's a
like
good
you have
point.
your own
Oh, I get
skin
it.
in the game.
Right.
I get
You
it.
know, and it's
Right.
very much
So
like
everyone
a
has to know the
Collaborators,
boundaries.
yeah.
How much
Yes.
work am I doing, and how
Yeah.
much, and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So I hope, but who knows? If I make another film, it'll make sense. You know,
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's interesting. I hope.
Yeah.
I hope you do. To be
I
honest
hope I
with
do
you.
too, but it's gotta, you know,
Likewise.
the
Yeah.
show me the money. I don't know. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. It just has to be some so I can
Make it
live.
worth
Like,
it.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah.
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 It's a lot of work.
It's a ton
I
of
think
work.
people realize how much work you put.
How long
and
did you
it
work on?
consumes me. I mean, I would like, I Need That Record. Like, I made that in like 2 years, and I remember the final year, I wake up at 9 and go to bed at 3,
Wow.
and not like nonstop. So
Yeah,
meal
yeah.
breaks and weekends, hang out with friends a little
Yep.
bit. But
Yep.
and then Danny Says was like, that was 7 years.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I would transcribe everything, and like I have to do it myself. And it's like, I mean, I had some interns, I had some help, I had some,
Sure.
you know, and I hired
Sure.
the animators and a few editors and stuff when money was there. But it's like, and you just got to keep that
Yeah.
energy going. And everybody's like, I mean, that's the other thing is like, you know what it's like, John. When people say, "Well, what do you do?" and you're like, "I'm a drummer, I'm a musician," and they're like, "Oh, yeah." Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
I got that throughout my entire 20s when I said I'm a filmmaker, and people are like, "Oh, yeah, okay."
Yeah. Right.
And then they wonder like, well, is he rich or is he like,
Oh,
you know, it's the whole
I know.
CIA secret takedown of artists, you know.
What do you mean by what's happening? What do you mean?
Oh, I don't know. It's just my conspiracy
Oh,
theory.
really?
Well, you know, I think that like, I think that Napster and all digital music was like an affront to like take down the counterculture and take like the, and even the clear channel takeover of radio was just
Really?
to take down like regional music and the
Wow.
power that it has. But now it's back, baby. We got Pro Tools, we got
That's right.
microphones. We're here in this podcast
Yeah.
studio.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a thought.
Right.
That was something I was toying with, like
That's what
CIA's role in rock and roll film, and like
So
kind of
CIA
play it up, and it's half true and it's half fake, and then people don't know what to think. And
Ooh.
they're like, yeah.
So they finally won. Like they were trying to take it down.
Took them a while, but
They
got it.
infiltrated like the MC5 and bands and the Black Panther Party in the late '60s.
Trying
So
to-
why? And it
Right.
specifically said rock and roll bands. I want to know what rock and roll bands. I mean, we
Yeah.
know John Kerry was in the Electras, but
Yeah, that's
that was his
point.
own band.
Yeah.
What would be the counterculture now? Like it seems like
TikTok. I don't know. I mean, I sound old.
Yeah.
Just
no,
even
but I
saying
mean,
would
like, what
say-
would the counterculture represent that needed to be repressed? Because I mean, I can understand in the '60s, you know,
Right.
trying to end Vietnam and there's protests. Like we don't. It doesn't seem like. Well, actually, we're both.
It's not
all
really
of us
a
are,
united.
Yeah.
It's many different counters.
the politics aren't as inherent. I mean, I think that
Right.
there's like probably like an anti-capital like subcurrent going under some like, what is it, like meme culture or I don't know.
It's
I
hard
don't
to
know.
say.
I mean, we're both so into our music and art thing that I don't.
So you're
Hard
saying
to
they're
be
trying to
on top of everything.
they're trying
Yeah.
to consolidate. So you're saying instead of everything so stratified and kind of localized, you think Clear Channels they're just trying to.
They're the reason why all the people are like, you play this song now. I paid $300 for this Paul
That's what I'm
McCartney ticket.
saying.
He better play Let It Be.
That's what I'm
or
saying.
my night is ruined.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying before. There used to be a
Yeah.
time when
They would just go and be happy in your presence and learn something from
and you would
Yeah.
say not that I mean this is a whole other conversation because I mean I'm down with I don't know whatever you want to call alternative music too, but I grew up in classic rock era.
Yeah.
And like when you really think about it, like, because once I was old enough to reach that point where I ditched classic rock for punk rock, and I was like, no classic rock. But then when you think about it, you're like, wait a minute. You just go, like Queen, for example. I'm not nuts about, but I like Queen fine. But it's like, hey, fellas, I have a song that like in the middle, it's just going to stop and we're going to have bicycle bells. And then it's going to be this thing. Right. And it's like, it's a hit.
Yeah.
Right. Because people were like down with the ride. They're like, it's Queen. They do whatever they want.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Or you're Led Zeppelin. You're like, oh, by the time we get to Houses of the Holy, track 2 is a ballad. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do about it? Mm-hmm. You can't do anything about it. It's like classic rock in a way. You got what you got. Right. You trusted the artist. You were like, life's been good to me so far. The whole middle is just going to go burp, 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 for a minute.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's what you get.
Well, now nobody wants to take any chances.
Right.
It's all formulaic and
right.
No risk, no reward.
Yeah, it's just trying to recoup whatever they put in.
But then oddly, right. But then when you think about it, I'm not a Pink Floyd fan, but you just go, oh, Dark Side of the Moon. Whatever, the greatest selling record of all time. And track 2 is right. For 5 minutes. That's it. Right. And you're like, that's pretty rad. Like when you think about it, you go, no one stopped that?
Right.
There it is.
I mean, I think people are smart and people ultimately find the good stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that like there's stuff that we all 4 of us know about that we don't know. Like, why do we know about like Britney Spears saga? Like, like we know about it. Do we want to know about it? No. But we know about it. Like, I think there's a pervasive part of the culture that gets in that sort of is programmatic in a way. And like, anywho.
Why do they care that I know about Britney Spears? Wow. There must be some reason.
That might just be a distraction,
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's always part of it.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
We probably shouldn't.
Right.
But we could. Right?
I'm a real fan of I like Ian Svenonius's books. They're kind of like half funny and half true.
I don't know who that is.
Read he was in this band called The Makeup, but read this book. It's Supernatural Strategies to form a rock and roll group.
It's great.
Oh.
It's a very small book. It's so funny. Yeah. Right, there's a beginning part where it's like a seance to Brian Jones. It's okay, but once you get into the thick of it, it's like make inferior music, have a great image. Now the image will get like, and you're like, whoa. Wait, this is true.
Sense,
and then he has this whole thing. He's like, the best communication between a band is no communication.
Perfect.
And he has transcripts of the Beatles during Let It Be or transcripts.
I'm already in.
Yeah. Oh, it's really fun.
All right.
He's got the thing where he says like rock and roll was designed by like the alcohol industry to sell more alcohol.
Oh, really okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. All right. You know what?
Yeah.
Maybe we're on the lesser third now.
Yes. Yeah.
But let me get up to speed.
Sure.
I'll read these books and then maybe we'll without getting too crazy.
Yeah.
Because
I
want to know
down the rabbit hole.
I want to know what you're talking about. I do. I want to know. That's awesome. All right.
So no, what's next for Dust Head is we're gonna play a bunch of shows and in the fall. Hope that things are still open, obviously, and probably write new stuff and take our time with it.
Who's the primary writer? Everybody.
Everybody comes with ideas.
Yeah.
It's democratic.
Right. Yeah. Everyone will put in someone will come with an idea and everybody kind of throws in their little part, their little twist or little bridge or little.
And no communication.
Very little.
As per the book, you just.
Just do it.
You got to have. He was just saying when there really is, it can be confusing and bad. I mean, think of the terms you use like in a studio, like wet or dry.
Yeah. It's all nonsense.
Like when you're mixing.
Yeah.
Add some more reverb is a real thing, but like get it slappy or something.
Yeah, right.
Like it's just
It's not warm enough.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I think I know what you mean. I'm just trying to imagine if I have a topic maybe, but I don't know. I don't know if we should get into it. Maybe not. Maybe for next time.
Sure.
All right, I'll do a mini one. I'll do it shortly.
Sure.
Do you find I think about this with bands sometimes. Like, all right, take the Ramones. example. So when you first hear the Ramones or they enter your world or you enter their world, you think it's monolithic. You go, they're all doing one thing. They're unified. They look the same. But then when you learn more about it, you realize they're trying to make 4 different records.
Right.
You're like, Johnny's trying to make a punk rock record. Joey's trying to make a Phil Spector record. I'm not sure what Dee Dee's doing, but more
Hip-hop.
pop.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
But the more that the band fragments as they continue album to album, you start to see they start to become more individuals, and then the whole music scheme gets broader in a way. I love when that happens.
Oh yeah.
Right before bands break up, you're like, oh, I'm getting 4 albums.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of. In some kind of weird way.
Right.
Although by the end of the Ramones, I guess maybe not so much because Tommy wasn't a force, if you know what I mean, by then. But anyway, so maybe that's a bunk theory. But
Yeah.
But
No, and I think, we just made this full length. I think we're starting. Now we know that we can do that. I think the next effort will be kind of more expansive into what we can each do.
Why not?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
The more anything goes, try different
Weirder
things.
styles. Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? All right, weird questions, weirder styles. I guess if whoever wants to go first, they're not weird questions. They're just, I find this interesting. If you could pick a desert island album one, is it possible?
I don't know. If I had to, it would be a Beatles album, I think.
Okay.
I would say.
Yeah.
It's hard to compete with
Which
that.
one are you leaning towards? And what, stereo or mono?
I'd probably go.
An important question.
Yeah, very important. I would probably go White Album just because it's the longest and
Sure.
I love it. And
Sure.
it's probably the greatest up there with some of the others. And I would go stereo. I think I like the stereo White Album a little better than mono one.
Yeah.
Personally.
Mono one is interesting though. 'Cause
It
you get
is.
weird
Yep.
stuff that you never
Yeah.
heard on other ones before.
You don't get the
Yeah.
I've got blisters on my finger. You lose some
Right.
things in the mono
You
too.
do.
So
Yep.
it's a give and take.
Yeah.
But
Yep. I hear you. Yeah. I, of course, have them both. So.
Well, similar along these lines, and Jeff and I heard this album years ago, probably around the same time of year. Probably Guided by Voices B1000.
Oh yeah, that's a good
Say it
one,
again?
too.
Guided by Voices B1000.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just even like the whole story behind that he's this 4th grade teacher, they're going to give up.
So
he's
crazy.
Gonna put together an album of greatest hits of songs, like an odds and sods thing. And
Yep.
he likes to collage and come up with band names, and he's writing all these songs, and then it gets
crazy.
sent out to a couple, people who can make it happen.
So crazy.
And that album, like when we first heard it, I was like, is this like White Album outtakes? Like this is
Yeah,
what
It
is
has
I know.
that feel.
I
It's
did
so
the same
poppy
thing.
and then
amazing,
it's it really was like, and that's why you love music. Like you find this stuff that's like,
Yep.
oh my, I never
It's
knew
never
this
ending.
existed.
I remember I had the
How
same
did I live
Yeah.
before? Like
just discovering Guided by Voices. Yeah,
this
that's
was
a
made
feeling,
for me,
not
and
like
I've
it.
never heard it.
Yeah, I had the same. Yeah, you're just like, what? Song after song after song after song, and they're all great. And you never heard of this dude, and they're recorded in the basement. You're just like, what?
Amazing.
Yeah, right.
What about you, John? What would your
White Album. But
White
we've already
Album?
covered
Oh,
that.
wow.
nice.
Look at
Mono, stereo.
Probably stereo. It's the first record I remember hearing as a kid.
Yeah.
and it just everything kind of
Mind
starts from there.
blowing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 in agreement here.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
figure. Yeah.
Oh well. And yours? It would be B1000.
Yeah, I think B1000. I always say that's my favorite
It's kind of
album.
like it's like the White Album.
it probably
cut from the same
changes from
cloth.
year to there. Like,
Sure.
I really love the Replacements. Do
Sure.
they have a great album? I don't know.
Yep.
But trying to think
Yeah.
who else I love. Maybe I had to pick a 45.
Mm.
Maybe Whole Lotta Woman by the Contours.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that's
I
a
don't
great
know that
one.
one.
Oh, check that out. That
Okay.
is
Yeah.
that is just a guy begging for a lady.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, in the best way.
Mm. Yeah, I don't
You
know
gotta
that
get
one.
the what is it? It's there's a certain
I think it's the regular version because there's a regional version that's
Yeah.
slower. Similar.
Oh,
two
really?
versions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's kind of cool. So Detroit. So it's like a Motown thing, but
Yeah.
Yep.
Tomla, yeah.
okay.
I
Okay.
want to just tell people out there that
Sure.
I always used to think that the stereo mono, who cares? And like,
Yeah.
this is real nerd stuff.
Mhm.
But I will say what changed my mind was if you listen to Axe's Bold as Love mono,
Oh yeah.
It
Oh,
is
yeah.
a totally different album. It's a totally different band.
I
unbelievable.
just that's funny. I just started listening to Axis this week after I used to like that a long time ago, and I was like, let me drag that out.
Yeah.
Or I only heard the stereo. I never heard the mono.
Oh, mono, it's
Mono,
like
it's
Spanish
yeah.
Castle Magic,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
There's no panning, so it's just like
in your face.
Yeah,
It's just so heavy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I'll check that out.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah. Axis Bold as Love.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a big Hendrix fan, but for some reason that album,
Yeah.
that was the
I think
first
it's his
one.
best. I think.
Is it? Dude,
I
is that what
think
people
so.
think?
I
Yeah.
think so. I don't know what people think. I think the
I love it.
third one people
Yeah.
really.
It's
get
kind of
into.
funny.
Yeah.
That's what I,
Yeah, it's kind of silly and
isn't it?
Yeah.
whimsical.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I like
Yeah.
about it. I forgot about that one.
Random, not a random thought, but I would like to just turn and say, like, you know, it's been cool seeing you do these podcasts because I'll see the guests each week and I'm like, I don't know who that person is, but then it's like Jim Chapeldane?
Yeah, Chapdelaine. Yeah.
Chapdelaine. It's
Yeah.
one of those last names that you read
Yeah,
and
sure.
you don't really pronounce or think about pronouncing. But I see it. I'm like, oh, there he is. And like Rich Dart. And it's like, you know, Connecticut
Oh, yeah.
is like this web. And like I was saying before, it's like when you're young, you think like, there's nothing going on in Connecticut. And it's not. It's like if you dig, there is like some real deep roots here that go
Yep.
all over the place. I mean, Roger C. Real just made an album with Steve Cropper, you know?
Yeah.
And like it's just an amazing place. And I never thought I'd be in my hometown saying that I'm lucky to be in the Connecticut music scene, but
Yeah.
we are.
It kind of is true. And what I think too is I get older, although I came up in cover band world at first. And it's like when you think about living in Connecticut, if you go an hour and a half at least in any direction, you're in a completely different market. So you
true,
can
yeah.
kind of do it. Like no offense, I have no idea what goes on but like, let's say you live in Des Moines or like my family's from Pittsburgh, you can just go to Cleveland.
Right.
That's really it. You can't, there's nowhere to really go.
Right.
It's just downtown or Cleveland, which is like 2 hours away. But in Connecticut, I used to play in Rhode Island, anywhere from Maine to DC was basically my run. You realize we are lucky in Connecticut because you can play Vermont, you can play anywhere in New England and be home that night if you really burn it.
Right.
Which I did. And I got all that playing done just from being in Connecticut. And you just think, well, if I was in Des Moines, I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
Right. That's a great point.
Oh, it is something to be thankful for in Connecticut, at least, when you think about it, is access to different, you can kind of just.
Yeah. And I think people's like idea of Connecticut is just like, they think it's like this posh place with like, people in sweaters and stuff like that.
Right.
It's not really. I mean, like, I get why New York exists and it's important for people to come from like Des Moines and move to New York and find their world and find their. That's what all this is about, right? We're talking about how we found our people say tribe or your people, and that's what it is, at least for people I think who are think differently or into music or into art or something like that. And man, I'm so lucky I saw it. At the time I saw it in New Haven. I mean, I talk to people all the time, like, you have a video store in Hamden, Connecticut? You guys play shows there?
Oh, dude.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, best video.
Yeah.
It's the greatest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah, we are luckier than we think.
Yeah.
And also, growing up realizing that we have access to New York City. And you can go home at night if you want to, if you burn it.
Yeah.
So just like, like you say, people come from all over the world to get to New York City. And we can go there now and be bored and go, this sucks, and then go home.
Not find a place to park and turn around.
Yeah.
If you thought that way, if you could. All right, that's cool. All right. So the one last wacky question. I don't know why I find this interesting. I just always wish when I see these things that people ask this. If you could eat only one food for the rest of your life, what do you eat at the moment? And you go, I'd be cool if it was only this forever.
I've thought a lot about this, and it's pizza.
Oh, okay.
What?
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a shocker.
I could eat that for that. If I had to pick one thing and that was all I could eat, I would be happy with that.
Sure. Hey, and that's the other thing about Connecticut too. We're going to get Dean Falcone up here. Is you don't realize growing up here that you're like, Oh, our pizza is the best.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh yeah, it's for real.
And he's another one that like, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
was
Yeah.
It goes everywhere.
Yes,
It goes
yeah.
to Brian May.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get him up here.
Yeah.
Make that happen.
That was like one of the huge things I loved was like all his vomitorium shows, and now I've been a part of so many of those. And
Yeah, Dean's the man.
yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's funny. I used to call, well, I still do actually. I still call him like Yoda. You know, like if there's something coming out, what's this all things must pass reissue? What's that all about? Call Dean.
Yeah.
Yo, dude.
Yeah, he'll know.
Yeah, and he'll
Especially
know.
if it's
Why
Beatles
does it
related.
need to be
Yeah.
remastered a fourth time?
Yeah, he'll know.
Yeah,
He'll know the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Who is working on it? Yeah,
Yeah. No, but Dean, he knows. He's like,
Yeah.
call Dean. Just call Dean.
yeah.
Find out
Amazing.
what's going on.
Food.
Yeah.
Are you talking like type, or it has to be specific
I don't know.
meal?
I don't know. I guess it's not so much the food. It's like I'm curious if anyone else but me has that moment. Like why? I don't know why.
Well, we've talked about it,
Thought
but
about
I
it.
thought that we agreed it was Mexican.
Oh, if it was going to be like a family of food,
Right.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, Mexican.
it would be
Sure.
Mexican. But if it was one
Yeah.
item,
I mean, I got food poisoning from it the other day, but I'll be back. I'll be back in the saddle.
Oh boy. Oh, don't
end of
say
the
where.
week. Yeah.
Don't say where.
Yeah.
well, Mexican has the best ingredients. They're
Yeah.
working with the best.
I
stuff.
agree.
Yeah.
That's my pick too.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know why I would think I would live in a world where, see, that's the thing is like that. Why would you? That's it.
I don't know. Supply chains. You never know.
don't
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You get stuck. Like this is what we have.
What would it be for you?
Mexican.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Mexican pizza at Taco Bell.
Yeah.
oh, but yeah. Bases covered. Yeah. Perfect. Yes. I want Mexican pizza and I don't want to get out of my car.
Right.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. We got it. Wow. Yeah. All right. I get that could be it. That could be it. Unless you.
I'd like to apologize to Ed for making him learn the Rain song. Talk about track 2 of a song remains the
boy.
same.
Really?
I bugged him endlessly when I was a teenager.
Ooh,
and
Ed Masenti?
Yeah, and he
Oh.
used to every time I come in here, and he's like, "Oh, Jimmy Page is back. Wants to relearn his old stuff." Like,
Oh, really?
You know.
I'd like
Yeah.
to apologize to him for making him listen to Mudhoney.
Oh boy, I would like. Yeah, well, I can't imagine what he would have. Yeah, that would be a good one. Yeah, well,
Ed was right. He was like, "What are you ever gonna do with Rain song? You're not gonna get a singer to sing this. You're not gonna perform this live."
He's
and
right.
like, he's right. But I got to learn all these crazy tunings and chords
Right.
that like actually were like pretty informative for like just
sure.
Johnny Spampinato calls it going fishing. Like you're going fishing for a chord. You're just making shapes with your hands and trying to find weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because all those guitar players have that kind of weird, they're like Jeff Beck. They don't want you to know what they play and how they play it.
Oh, really?
I
a
find.
thing? That's a
Oh,
thing?
yeah, big
And they
time.
want to sound different. They don't want to sound
Yes.
like anyone else. Yeah.
I mean, Hilton Valentine one practice. Baby, let me hold your hand or take you home. The guitar player was like, "Hey, let me see how you do that beginning intro," and he was like, "No."
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that is like some British invasion guitar like rules.
They don't give
there.
away
like
their
they're no,
secrets.
definitely not. No.
Well, that's kind of.
It was
I
so
didn't know that.
cutthroat back in the day. You had to.
I didn't know that.
It's so competitive.
Because you had to listen to those records over and over. That was hard work. Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, now you can do it with your phone. It's annoying, or look up how to play it on YouTube or
Yeah,
tablature, but it might not even be the right way,
Wow.
Anywho.
So you got to get it from the source.
Yeah, imagine trying to pick out a chord off a 45 that you're playing over and over again.
Imagine that's the way I used to
speaker.
do. That's what
Crazy.
I did. Used to
Wow.
do. There was no other way to do it. Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah, crazy. Yeah. Then I had when I finally got a drum teacher that knew. He would come to my house and I would have a pile of records and I would just go put the needle down and go, "What's he doing?" And he would, and I would go, "Next, what's he doing?" Because it was like I couldn't. I had to know.
Now you can get a little tutorial on
I
almost
know.
any song.
Yeah, I guess.
They're never right.
Well, sometimes they
Usually
are,
they're not, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes, sometimes they're just not.
And one other quick thing. Jeff and I always say, like, it'd be so helpful if, maybe not, maybe that it is part of the process and the journey. We were saying, like, why doesn't somebody just say what gear you need to get? Like, think of all the broken pedals you have, the busted wires, the bad
Just like a
amps you have,
starter
the
kit.
bad guitars,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Because there's so much you go through trying to find why. It's a little kit, everything you need.
It's like that with records too.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's
you're
true.
like, why did I buy this?
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
know.
What records do you regret buying?
I don't know. Plenty of stuff.
lot
Like,
of stuff.
why did I own the Incubus album when I was a teenager? Other than like I was at the mall and like it was on the radio and
Right.
nonstop, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
Would have been better served by like James Brown, but I didn't know that then.
Right. Sure.
You know?
Well, I think that's the fun of it.
Yeah.
Isn't it? The more you learn,
Yeah.
you just go, oh yeah, why did I even bother with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks,
Awesome.
John.
Right?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
cool?
Yeah.
All right. So come back anytime
Cool.
because
Definitely.
these always fly by and then you'll watch it and go, we didn't even talk about whatever. We can do whatever we want. We can come here
I think
anytime.
we said our piece.
Yeah, I
you
think-
know?
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do maybe someday, you know,
if you read that Ian Spinoni's
That's what I'm
book,
saying.
we can get into a, you know.
that's what I'm saying.
A book club.
I'm gonna-
Yeah.
you know what?
Literature
I'm into that. I'm totally into that. Yeah. No, I'd be interested to know any of that.
And Danny gave me that book. I don't know. He may have read it. He was like, Brendan, here, have this.
Oh, really? He
Yeah,
just
he's
was
like,
"You'll
I have an
like
extra
this."
copy. You should have this.
Wow.
And I was like, I didn't know like if he read it, but I'm like, he would have had to because like it is so up his alley. Like he would think it was hysterical.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you don't. All right. I have to ask just one last thing
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I remember when I saw this, maybe it's common knowledge because I didn't Google it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know. Your movie ends with the Ramones.
Yep.
What did he do after that?
Oh, immediately after that, he got a job at Country Rhythms magazine.
Okay.
And he like went into like Nashville aristocracy, and he didn't know anything about country music, but he got all his writer friends in. So like Lenny Kaye was doing articles like if Elvis would have lived, like doing like speculative articles.
Yeah.
Like it was basically like he went back to being like, you know, Date Booker 16
Okay.
editor, but for country music, and
Good.
just like amazing. I would have liked to do like a whole nother movie and a whole
Right.
nother hour, but you know, you got to keep it kind of confined to a comfortable
Yeah. No.
time and place. And people always say like,
It's-
"Why'd you end with the Ramones?" And it's like, well, because there's just too much to cover.
I
you
I
know?
would imagine.
Yeah.
I just didn't know.
Yeah.
I actually was just like, I wonder what does happen. Did you know, real quick before we go, do you know Matt Starr? Do you
Yeah,
know Matt?
yeah,
So Danny was checking out the Flames
that's right.
back then.
Yeah, right.
His band, which isn't surprising.
Yes.
I didn't know you. I knew the name, like many of us, I guess. I knew Danny Fields' name. And I remember when Matt told me, hey, Danny Fields is hanging around the band. And I was just like, oh, okay, what's that all about? And now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, oh, of course
Yeah.
he would like the Flames.
Right.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yep.
So Matt could have been a chapter. Could have been
Yeah.
a thing in there. You know?
And there was a while where we don't need to put this in the podcast. but-
Well, it's all in.
oh, all right. Well,
There's
then
no
I won't
editing.
mention it then.
Yeah, so be careful.
Zip it up. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Whatever. Well, I guess we'll talk later.
Yeah.
And then this is it because I you know, whatever. But my take on Johnny Spampinato, because I'm a hardcore NRBQ fan, and I've been in the room with him, like, but he doesn't know me, but I've been around that band enough. And if you ever talk to him, make sure from an NRBQ fan that I thank him because he allowed me to see that band after Al for years, for years. And for me as I love that band, but any time that I got to see Tommy was
Yep.
gold.
Yeah,
and
of
I
course.
love the band.
Right.
I mean, I love Johnny's playing,
Yeah.
but I just was like, I don't know if anyone ever said that. They're like, dude, thank you for doing that because
Yeah.
the band could have been over when Al left.
Right.
And I would have missed seeing that band and missed seeing Tommy all those times.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, anytime I saw Tom Artolino was like, okay, I got to
Yeah.
start all over again.
And drumming like totally wrong.
Totally wrong. but the
But amazing. Like one of the greatest drummers ever. Like
one of the greatest ever. The greatest ever. I still can't get over it. I'm just like, I can't believe that he's not somewhere doing it. And the weirdest, and then I guess we got to stop because I could do this forever. But they played one time outside, and I finally was like, now I'm going to get behind him. They were like at a gazebo. I said, I'm going to sit behind him and figure this all out. And I was more confused than ever. Literally, like I watched it, and I just was like, I still don't know how he's doing this.
Yeah.
And there was one time he used to do sessions for Jim Chapdelaine on my drums. There was one day he's going, oh, Tommy was here. And I said, solo the drums. They were my drums, and they didn't sound like my drums at all. I still was like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
What is he doing?
Yeah.
Huh.
And I literally listened to the track soloed, and I just was like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, one of the greatest of all time.
Yep.
That's all there is to that.
Yeah.
The NRBQ flick. Where is it?
Ah.
I have been in talks with Terry.
I'm sure you
Yeah.
have.
Yeah,
I'm sure you
but-
have. Yeah.
Again, it's when.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. They've
Oh.
got stuff, and he's got archives and stuff, but
It's so hard.
we'll see.
It's so hard to know. I think
Yeah.
it's like one of those things, like you say, there are a few bands that are more important to me than that band.
Yeah.
And you just don't know how many of us there are.
It
make
needs to
worth
be
it.
done
Just-
at some point,
I-
regardless of whether it's me or not.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I can't believe that, Tommy. It just like, so that you're never going to hear that again. It's gone forever.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah.
It's a drag.
Yeah.
I want him to still be playing drums.
I got to say, John Perrin, the current drummer of the new lineup, he has got it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to
Yeah.
hear that.
And I wouldn't just say that.
No,
He's got it.
I would love to hear
Yeah.
that. I would love
It's
to
like
It's kind of scary.
Yeah, it's
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and he
All
does
right,
some
I'll
of the
check that.
mannerisms, and it's
Yeah.
like because he grew up. He's a little younger than us, so he grew up since like age 4 listening to him.
Oh, boy.
And it's like his favorite band.
Great. Wow.
So
okay.
he gets
yeah,
it.
I got
Yeah.
it. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to hook this up.
Yeah,
All right. Let's wrap for now.
all right, man.
I really appreciate you guys being
Likewise.
here.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is awesome. This is a lot of fun.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
it is
Dave.
fun. It is fun.
Yeah, thank you, Dave.
We'll have fun playing. When's your next thing? wanna talk about?
September 11th at Simsbury Music Feast
Okay.
Fest. The 5th, and then we also are open up for Billy Bremner at Cafe 9 of Rockpile,
Okay.
and then Glastonbury Apple Harvest Saturday night.
And you have your record thing. You
Oh,
do-
yeah.
How often?
You can Shake and Vibrate. That
Yeah,
is you look us up on Instagram, shake_and_vibrate.
Yeah.
And I have all the dates up there.
Okay.
It's once a month usually.
Yep. I'll come check it out.
Yeah.
Awesome. Really appreciate you guys being here.
Thanks, John.
Thank
yeah,
you.
man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks. All right. Take it easy. Hey, Brendan Toller, Jeff Slocum, they were here live and in person.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I am John Peckman. This was the John Peckman podcast. What is this, episode 22, probably? Something like that. 20. All right. All right. Hey, thanks a lot, kids.
Cool.
Drive safe. Be careful.
Good night. Good night.
Yeah. John Peckman podcast. Connecticut Valley School of Music. You're good. You don't have to hear any of this. Connecticut Valley School of Dance. Portland, Connecticut. Over the bridge. Start looking left. I'm John Peckman. We were here. Brendan Toller. Jeff Slocum. See ya.